Thank you for listening. This is Sherryandrea, and I appreciate you. If you're looking for me, you can. Hold on one second. You can find me, at sherryspeaks.com, where you can find 80 plus attunements, also services such as many think of them as psychic readings. I channel my higher self. I call it Channel Insights, where it doesn't matter whether the question you're asking is really a psychic related question or more a coaching question. Either way, the answer is from my higher self. Also, and right now, I still have the sale on for $15 for 30 minutes. Also, for anyone who would be considered a new client, you've never gotten a service from me before, like a reading or coaching, there's a special right now, and it is $5 for 20 minutes, just so that you can, try it out, see how you like it. We've been having a lot of fun with those lately. I've been having a lot of people take advantage of them, and they've been really enjoying them. And it's been awesome. I'm always excited when I get to meet new people, like new clients. It doesn't take much to make me happy. But so it's been awesome. But okay, what else is at the website? Of course, there are articles that you can read there that I've written. Keep in mind, you guys, because I get emails about this all the time. Okay, so majority of the manuals, 95% or more of them is a free download. All you have to do is go to the website, and where you download the manuals from is on the menu under attunements, and then you can download the manual. So if you're thinking about getting attunement, and let's say you want to read about it first, find out more about it, you can go ahead and download the manual, read it, and then make your decision about whether or not you want to do that attunement course. The attunements are courses, meaning they're set up as courses, which means after you purchase the attunement, you log back into the site, you go to do your course, and it's most of them is a two-step process. The very first part of the course, like lesson 1, is the attunement itself, and then the next part is where the manual comes up, and then you read the manual. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. And if you're familiar with how most people do attunements, offer attunements, they use the chi ball method. This is very similar. You're asked to stare at and meditate on an image that I have imbued with the attunement. Works very well. Works very similar to the video attunements. So if you've done any of my video attunements, it works very similar. So you can go to the website, and that's at sherryspeaks.com, and you'll be able to get to everything from there. Okay, so let me remind you, please subscribe, like the video if you can, but definitely subscribe. That would help me out. And then, if you can donate, that would help me, because it helps me to, pay for all the things to keep everything going, from web hosting to equipment cost. Equipment breaks down, and I've been having technical issues for 2 years, so I've been the technical issue person. But anyway, it helps, and you'll find you can do the paypal.me/sherryandrea, or you could just go to the website sherryspeaks.com/donate, and there are several different methods where you can donate, from cashapp to PayPal to Venmo there's a lot and of course there's the option to donate direct with your credit or debit card. Even if all you can donate is $1, $1 is appreciated. If everybody donates $1, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so this video is about, now even though it's about your spirit guides, okay, this applies to any spirit. This doesn't matter whether you're trying to work and learn to communicate with your spirit guides, or whether you're trying to learn to communicate with your higher self, whether you're trying to learn to communicate with the angels and the ascended masters, or whether you're trying to develop your mediumship ability. It doesn't matter what we're talking about when we're talking about communication with spirit. Okay, so this is the point that I'd like to make today. I've heard this so many times from people when I'm doing sessions, and they've said, well, I don't know what's going on. My guides aren't talking to me. And I always find it interesting that it's put in that way. Oh, my guides aren't talking to me. And I always giggle a little bit, and I'm like, nothing's wrong with your guide. Nothing's wrong with your guides. They're not having the problem. We are the ones that are having the problem, because we're the ones that have the issue. Because either, it can be so many things. Either our vibrations aren't high enough and we're not getting it clearly, or we just haven't practiced enough to develop it, or we don't understand exactly how that communication manifests. Okay, so this is the point in this video that I want to tell you. This is huge. Stop saying that you don't know what's wrong, your guides aren't speaking to you, because that is a false statement. There actually are constantly trying to talk to you. They're constantly talking to you, constantly trying to be heard. So, but this is the thing. I'm not telling you to stop saying that because it's not true. I'm telling you to stop saying it so that you will stop telling yourself that, so that you'll stop reinforcing that. We need to speak what's true. You know what I mean? We need to say what we want to manifest. Okay, and if your goal is to be able to talk to your guides or talk to your higher self, and do it easily, effortlessly, then the first step, stop telling yourself, oh, I don't know what's wrong. My guides aren't talking to me. My higher self's not talking to me. My higher self not saying anything. Look, your guides, your higher self, the angels and the ascended masters, they're not on vacation. They haven't been furloughed. They don't take a break. Not only do they not take a break, many people forget about the fact that often when I'm doing energy work for people, the way I work with energy, I deal in multiple instances of a thing. Okay, here's the question. Did you ever stop to think, with so many people praying to God, praying to Jesus, praying to the angels, praying to the ascended masters, they're in their car, they're getting ready to drive somewhere. Archangel Michael, protect me. Archangel Raphael, protect me, keep me safe, get me from here and back home safely. Archangel Michael, give me protection. With so many people making that call, did you ever stop to think, well, wait a minute. How is it I'm making the call? You're making the call. Kids would probably think, wow, they must be exhausted. They're zipping from here to there because everybody's calling them. Well, no, we deal in, it's called multiple instances. And spirit has the ability to be multiple places at one time. Okay, so those of you who either are Christians or have a Christian background, okay, do you remember, this has to do with, like, when Jesus was talking with the disciples before he was crucified, especially and specifically at the Last Supper, where he was trying to say to them, wouldn't it be better if I was actually able to be like with all of you and not just only at one place with one person at a time? Wouldn't it be great if I could be with everyone that needs me at any given time? I'm paraphrasing, of course. What do you think he meant by that? Now, here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of the stuff that's in the Bible relates to metaphysics. I'm sorry, let me get my arm off the desk. I think I'm making the camera shake. Okay, so a lot of things in the Bible actually do relate to metaphysics. Okay, what we're talking about and what he was talking about was multiple instances of himself. In spirit, he could be multiple places at one time because of the way it works. I almost feel like, you know how sometimes you're trying to explain something that you learned in science class, and it's like, okay, let me see if I can try to explain it. That's what I feel like now. Okay, let me explain how that works. But that would be like me trying to explain to you how energy works. And I think that most of you do understand. You may not have pondered it very much, put much thought into it, but I think that most of you do understand the way energy works, and that energy is not like just like me. If I'm going to go to Walmart, well, at 1 o'clock, if I'm going to be at Walmart, at 1 o'clock, I can't be at your house. And we understand that, right? So we're in the body, we can't do that. However, spirit is energy. It's energy, it's vibration. And it's not, okay, if this is a ball of energy right here, what I'm saying is it doesn't have to, on the other side in another dimension, it doesn't have to stay in that form. Energy, a piece of it can break off and go here. A piece of it can break off and go there. Didn't you ever wonder how everybody's praying to God and he's kind of being there for everybody all at the same time? Okay, and then there's the concept of we're all one. Okay, let's take the example of oneness, mass consciousness. We're talking about a concept of we're all a piece of a whole. So a little piece broke off, I got in a body and I came down here. Another little piece broke off, you got in a body, you came down here. Another little piece broke off, got in a body, and your best friend came down here. So I think that most of you get that idea, that concept. So multiple instances, that means that, when you're talking to your guide, did you ever stop to think you're probably not the only person that they've been assigned to? I'm not saying that means that sometimes, okay, don't get it wrong, because I know that some of you right now are thinking, oh, so sometimes they're not around because they're with my neighbor. No, they can be with your neighbor and with you at the same time, because it's multiple instances. They can be multiple places at the same time. So there is never a reason why they can't be talking to you. Never. And they're constantly trying to talk to you. They're actually yelling, screaming, trying to be heard by you. They're waiting for that opportunity when your when your brain state hits that state where it's like moment of peace and clarity. I may be able to be heard now. I'm going to try to pop that idea in their head. I'm going to try to pop that thought in their head. So they are constantly trying to talk to us. But here's the thing. It's not about whether they're trying to talk to you. It's about your ability to pick up that energy that they're trying to send to you, which is that communication. You have to, in the realm of practicing, and you need to be always practicing, you always have to be in that position of always listening, always paying attention, always oh, okay, that thought just popped in my head. Where did that come from? Something just came to me. Where did that come from? Always, never trying to miss it, and always questioning it. A thought just popped in my head. Did it just randomly pop in my head? Was I already thinking about that? That is what you need to do to get It's kind of like learning to ride a bike. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more second nature it feels to you. But when it comes to communicating with spirit, you need to do the same thing. First, you need to stop the negative self-talk. Stop saying I can't do it. I haven't been able to do it. I don't even want you to say I haven't been able to do it. I don't even want you to say I've been practicing but it's not working. I don't even want you to say that. You have to really always be in the state of mind that I'm practicing every day, and any day now it's going to click. I used the example last week with someone that was an engineer, and I said to him, I used the example of calculus. Because when I took calculus, oh my goodness, I love math. I was always so good with math. And then when I took calculus, and I was excited to finally get to the part where we're doing calculus equations, and I couldn't get it. Weeks. I was taking I was doing a non-traditional at-home course through, I think it was the University of Minnesota. But anyway, I'd worked on it for weeks. I tried to get it for weeks. I finally called the professor, and I was just like, I don't understand. I'm just not getting it. And I was thinking that, okay, I'm going to call the professor, and there's going to be some answer to this. Something he explains is like, oh, it's because you're doing this wrong. But there was no answer. He explained that he said it's often like that, where sometimes people don't get it right off the bat. He said, but I promise you keep trying. He said, and just all of a sudden it's gonna click. And sure enough, I didn't really believe him. I really did not believe him. But okay, so I kept at it, and sure enough, I want to say about a week later, just all of a sudden it clicked. And when it did, I was like, oh, let me see if I can do it again. And I mean, I remember that evening, I sat up for hours just doing equation after equation after equation, because it was just like, oh my gosh, I finally got it. And I didn't want to stop doing it. Okay, well, when it comes to communicating with your guides, you are practicing and you're working at it sometimes so long that you almost get used to it being a one-sided conversation. You almost get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, if this is all it can be, I guess I gotta be satisfied with this. And then it just clicks. And you're like, oh, okay. That's what you're waiting for. That's why I'm like, you have to stop doing all negative self-talk, because you've got to give yourself room to let it click. It's just like with calculus. I didn't know when it was going to click, but the hard part was that I had to hang in there until it did, not knowing how long that would take. Metaphysics is like that. But so is spiritual advancement. When you're working on spiritual advancement, you don't know how long it's going to take. You have to want, that's why it's important. You got to want it for the right reason. Because you have to want it in a way that you're willing to hang in there without any promise of that reward. That's the way you need to hang in there. So I really, really need all of you, don't do any more, negative self-talk. Instead, turn that around. Start talking to your higher self and saying, you know what, I know as of yet, I haven't grasped this, and it's kind of a one-sided conversation right now. I mean, you can hear me, but I haven't picked up your communication back. Just talk to your higher self about it. I know I haven't gotten this yet, but I know any day now I'm gonna get it. And anything you can do to help me, I'd appreciate it. Ask for help. Archangel Michael tends to be easier to hear. I don't know why. But I used to practice a lot with Archangel Michael. Just, calling on him, asking him to come forward and asking him, hey, I'd like to practice with you. I'd like to practice hearing you. And I would just ask just random questions to try to hear him. But here's the thing. Be careful about what you think you're expecting. Expectations are really messed up. I've said that before. Because sometimes we're expecting something to manifest in a way that it's maybe not going to, or maybe not going to in the beginning. So, for example, if you're really expecting to hear his voice in your head, saying word for word for word for word, then you may actually miss the communication because that's what you're waiting for. That's what you're expecting. No, start with just trying to pick up the thought that's trying to be sent to you. So ask a question and then answer this question. What thought is being sent to me? Give the first thing that comes to your mind. What thought is being sent to you? Like, I literally mean, if somebody could place a whole thought in your head that is the answer to your question, what thought do you think is being sent to you? What you want to do is you want to grasp anything that comes to you, a thought, an idea. All of a sudden, were you reminded of something? Did somebody come to your head? Were you reminded of a certain something that you did in the past? Were you reminded of a friend from the past? Anything like that comes to you. It's a form of communication. That's what you have to get out of the thinking that forms of communication are just verbal. Okay, here's the thing. I say this with people who are practicing telepathy with animals. The very first question I ask them after I'm listening to them is, let me ask you a question. How did you think your fur baby was getting this communication? Did you think your fur baby, how have you been trying to talk to them? And most people will tell me, oh, I've just been trying to talk to them like normal. I just been talking to them. I read this book, or this person said, just keep talking to them. And I shake my head and go, no. I don't know why they're saying that. I don't know why they told you that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Since when do you think animals speak English? When's the last time you heard your dog say a word? When's the last time you heard your dog walk up to you and go, I'm hungry? Or can I get that snack now? Have you heard your dog speak English? Yes, your dog has the capacity to understand a certain amount of words that you have trained them to learn, right? So you know that your pet has that capacity to recognize certain words. But would you say that means your dog speaks English? Your dog speaks and understands English? No, it doesn't. It's just that your dogs learn to recognize certain sounds. But now we're talking communication. We're not just talking about throwing out certain sounds. Like your dog might recognize the sound when you say the word walk, like go for a walk. So when you say, do you want to go for a walk? The one and only word your dog might recognize is the word walk. But but now they know what it means, because they're like, oh, well, every time she says that word, she gets my leash and we go for a walk, and I like that. So I recognize she said that word. So we must be getting ready to go for a walk, and I do want to go for a walk. So they get all excited, and then we think, they understood us. Okay, not exactly. They just understood that word, the sound of it. So now I'm going to ask you again. Does the animal you're trying to speak to, whether it's your pet, whether it's the birds outside, whether it's a squirrel that comes by, do they speak and understand English? No, that's not their language. They have their own language that we don't do. Do you speak squirrel? Well, of course you would say to me, well, no, Sherry, I don't speak squirrel. You don't speak squirrel? I don't speak squirrel. But here's the thing. What they do understand is, and what most people and animals understand, are visual images. Like cues and clues. We all understand symbols. We all understand symbols. And that is the way we communicate with animals. We use images. We connect with them through a stream of energy from my third eye to their third eye, and then I send along an image through that stream of energy. It takes a lot of focus, so you must be meditating every day if you're really going to learn to do this, because it takes a lot of intense focus, because you have to hold a visual long enough for them to effectively get it. So you might send along an image that is an image where you visualize, like, not just their dog dish, but the area of the house where their dog dish is, trying to get them to get up and walk over to it. I've done this before with my dog, Lucy, that passed away quite a few years ago, but it used to work. She would get up, she'd walk over to her food dish, she'd sniff the dish, and then kind of look up and look around like, what the heck is going on? What? I'm not hungry. What's happening? You know what I mean? So it is confusing for them, because you're sending this image. You're like literally sending them this clue. They don't know where it comes from. However, they pick it up and they're like, oh, okay. And they walk over to the dog dish. And of course, if they get over there, they sniff it, they realize, well, I'm not hungry. Why did I even do this? Why did I even get up and walk over here? But, you know, it allows you to practice and to get that validation and to realize, oh, okay, it worked. So it just takes, whether you're communicating with spirit or animals, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes focus, but you have to practice every day. You have to meditate every day, because you have to be able to clear your mind, because the communication has to be able to get through. You have to be able to pick it up. But there's a lot going on in your mind. Your mind is going, oh, I need to do the laundry. Oh, yeah, and I need to do this. And oh, yeah, I need to make this doctor's appointment. With all of those thoughts and everything always going through your mind, there is a lot of clutter in our minds. That's why we meditate every day, because we're trying to get to the point where we can kind of clear our mind anytime we want to, so other things can come through. Now, it's not going to be like this always. It's kind of like riding a bike. Once you get the hang of it, you don't even have to think about it, right? Well, it does get to that point, but don't be okay with being a beginner. You're at the beginning, be okay with being a beginner. So at the beginning, yeah, you do have to focus a lot. You do have to kind of put some effort into it. But it's okay. The more and more you practice, get used to it, then it becomes more second nature. But that's the most important thing. If the only thing out of this that you pick up is about the negative self-talk, I need you to tell yourself the right thing. I need you to stop telling yourself that you can't hear your guides, you can't hear your higher self, or that they're not talking to you. I need you to stop doing it. I need you to actually instead say what you want to be true. Because if you're practicing every day, plus you're stating positive self-talk, what you actually want to be true, what you actually, like, you want to say what you want to be true right now. If you're doing that, you will be way more successful, and this will end up being way less frustrating for you. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today. I hope you enjoyed the talk. I enjoyed being here with you. Remember, like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Feel free to share, of course, on your social media if you can. And I will be talking to you again real soon. And namaste.